Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review, impressions of a knife. I've had this for a little bit in my collection, something I got from the Knife Nuts podcast. And they had a special edition of a particular knife made by Arkona Knives. So let's take a look. All right, so here is the knife that we're looking at today. This is the Buran, or the Buran KNP for Knife Nuts Podcast Edition, made by Arkona Knives. Really, really cool, different kind of a knife. It's made by the designers Ivan D. Brog. Oh, I don't know if I can say this. Braganets? Maybe I'm saying it right. Braganets? Ivan. So we'll go by Ivan. This knife was, the production date was January 2024. Number 18 of 50. Beautiful carbon fiber. Does look really nice in the sun. Gorgeous. T8 hardware all the way around. Nice captive pivot. Beautiful design there with the Arkona knives. And if you look on the back here, we've got a purple anodized deep pocket carry clip, a purple anodized pivot collar, and a purple anodized back spacer. Really, really nice. You'll notice that this is a frame lock, but it's unique in the sense that it's cut out in the middle of it. So I don't know exactly what they call this. I know people have different names for it. I'm sure there's an official name, but essentially it's a frame lock because if you'll see the over travel stop, the steel bar insert is attached to this, and then it kind of comes all the way up here. And we'll take a look at this here in a second. It does have a beautiful fuller on both sides. It has a front flipper. It's a rather large knife. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's do the first flick. Really nice and big blade. So this is not a small, we'll do the measurements here in a second. It's not a small knife. You can see in my hand, plenty of room in here. I've got large hands with big meaty fingers. So extra large hands with regular size fingers, double extra large hands with smaller fingers. This is what you're going to look at. Choke up, tons and tons of extra room. So double extra, triple extra, quadruple extra large hands. Shaquille O'Neal size hands probably could carry this, right? This beautiful thumb, it's really a fuller. Some people call it a thumb nick or whatever, but it's a fuller, right? That is what works there. Now here you can see the over travel stop, and that's attached to this bar in here. And any of the cutout weight relief is done inside. There's a lot of weight relief, both on the carbon fiber and the titanium side. So it's relatively light for the size of the knife. The clip works really well. Very unique, modern kind of industrial kind of angles, which is really cool. And you would think that this could be sharp and edgy and uncomfortable, but it's not. Amazingly, it's very, very nice. It's got a beautiful aesthetic and look, a very strong industrial look, but it's very comfortable in hand and works really, really well. Nice jimping on top. I do like that. And so let's go ahead and get to that lock there. And so when you click on that, you clear the detent, and then the action's beautiful, right? So reverse flick works well. And then the front, get your thumb in there. So let me get in there. Sorry, without my thumb on. Push on that. If you push on that, obviously it's going to be a little bit. And then the top flipper works really nicely, and it's tuned right out of the box. No tuning was necessary. You see that? Just works really, really nicely. You can catch it right there if you want to drop it so you don't worry about the guillotine. Let's go. Where is the detent on this guy, you ask? You clear it right there. Once you clear it right there, so your finger could catch that. Once you clear there, you have that beautiful drop. The action's phenomenally, just stunning. Big, beautiful, long blade comes to a nice pointy, pokey tip. Great for getting into dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, whatever you want, you know, Amazon boxes. Nice cutaway relief, easy access to that lock bar. I like that. Interesting, unique texture on that steel bar insert lock bar. Love that. Everything is chamfered on the outside. Even in here, there's no sharp corners or anywhere. I didn't cut myself. I gave blood, so they had to do a little check my iron in my blood, and that's what that is. Just so you know. You can easily reverse the clip. So left-handed, right-handed clip. That's a reversible clip. I think that's super, super cool. It fits the whole industrial look. It kind of fits that look and that look over there. So it's a nice touch. Again, the angles, it's very unique. I love the shapes on here. And the chamfering, it makes it very comfortable. This has got a nice little groove in here. Got a little groove up on top. So if you do a choke up, you've got some places to hold. You could do a pinch grip. I think Cole from Tri-State would say pinch grip all day long. But this would definitely be a bigger knife. I don't think Cole would go for this knife because this is a big knife. So we'll do some measurements here in a second. It does have multi-row cage bearings. I did put skiffs in this thing, so it's even better. Just beautifully gorgeous and just buttery smooth. I love it, love it, love it, love it, right? So that's really, really, really nice. All right, so the blade here, to me it's not a drop, it's a drop point, right? I would consider this drop point. It's got that Sponto sort of spear point, Tonto kind of pseudo look. I love this kind of look. I've seen people kind of do it. It's just a unique blade shape that I dig a lot. I like it. It's got to kind of come up here with a little bit of a angle for your thumb in place. It's nice. There's no sharp edges up here. It's nicely chamfered, nothing crazy. The edge is super crazy sharp for sure. It does have a little choil. Excuse me, a little choil there for sharpening. So that's nice. Again, nothing sharp around here anywhere, even here. Nothing sharp here. It's just really well thought out. A lot of nice touches everywhere. I really dig that. So very cool. So the action is just stunning. The flipping is just stunning and beautiful. I love it. So, yeah, blade, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and do some measurements real quick. Let's see how much this guy weighs. So we're looking at, I'm going to guess 4.5 ounces, 4.8 maybe. 4 ounces. See, there's a lot of weight relief in there, a lot of milling to take a lot of weight off. So 4 ounces for this size blade is great. That's really phenomenal. All right, let's see what's the overall length of the knife. So I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. It handles well for the size, but it's a pretty big knife. So going from the tip to here, we're looking at just over 8.5 inches. I'm going to say 8 5/8, maybe 8 5/8 of an inch, right? Overall grip area, if you go here, you got 4 inches. If you go choke up all the way up here, you got almost 5 inches, 4 and I want to say 3/8. I mean 4 7/8 probably of a grip area. The overall blade length from the tip to the back is 4 3/4. I mean 3 3/4, right? And then the actual cutting length is just over 3.5 inches, maybe 3 and I want to say 9/16, maybe somewhere around there. Yeah, so that's what it feels like to me. So really nice, big, full-size knife. Action's beautiful. Everything is great about this. The detent ball works really nicely. Let's see, what's the overall blade stock thickness we're talking about here? 141.5 or 142 thousandths of an inch. So it's not super thin, but it's not super thick for the size of the knife. So that's not bad. It's a fairly robust knife. You get a lot of knife here. You get a lot of things to work with. So, so what is this knife? Is it a budget knife? No. Is it a regular knife, $100 to $300? No. The knife category for this one's going to be the higher end. It's definitely between $300 and $600. This was $395, and I think the Knife Nuts podcast still may have some of these available, but this is $395 brand new, and I think it's a good buy. I think it really is for the materials and everything you get. But if you can find it used out there, then you can probably get a good deal if somebody is selling theirs. I like this knife a lot. I really have enjoyed it. I just didn't carry it a whole lot. So for me, it's one of those knives that I really enjoy. Everything about it is great. And I don't know if I don't carry it because I have too many other knives, or I don't carry it because, I don't know, is there something else? And so, you know my rule, it's a catch and release. If I get the knife and I don't carry it long enough, I want to do a catch and release, right? And so that's what this knife will become. It's a catch and release. It's going to be going to someone else. Somebody else will get to enjoy it in their collection. I like to carry every knife I own. That's just what I do. And that would include this knife as well. So since I don't carry it, and I really hardly have carried it, but I think it's a stunning knife and it's really well done. I think someone with bigger hands would probably really enjoy this. I think it's the size. Maybe it's just a little big for me. There are some big knives I have in my collection that work great. And this works really well for the size as well, but it's still kind of big. And I think that's the thing that's kind of holding me back. It's just not easy, fidgety. I mean, it is fidgety, but I can't say that. It just doesn't draw me in to carry when I'm wanting to carry something big, right? There's other knives. And I think that's the case. So I've enjoyed it. I've experienced it. I've appreciated it. I've gotten some great content out of it. You guys get to see the review, my experience in telling you about it. I think it's a fantastic knife. Now, if you have really small hands and you don't like big knives, it's probably not for you. If you have large hands like me, maybe longer fingers, I don't know, and you like big knives, I think you might enjoy this. If you've got bigger hands and you like knives that are a little bigger for your bigger hands, this is something you probably want to check out. I think it might be worth your time. Really, and of course, does the aesthetic speak to you? Now, this is purple anodized. You can easily unanodize that if you don't like that. That's very easy to get rid of, right? So if the purple's freaking you out, you can fix that, right? That's fixable. That's replaceable. It's not the end of the story, right? So there's things you can do. And matter of fact, I think, does it come with? I was going to look real quick here. It does come with extra hardware. Yeah, it's another purple collar, but you could take one and experiment with possibly. You could possibly maybe. I don't know. Try to remove the anodization if you didn't want to. That would be cool. But you got a lot of extra little hardware in here and another over travel stop. So there's the over travel stop that we were talking about. Look at that. That's pretty robust. Pretty robust, and you can see the texture right there. So very cool. Oh, and here's the skiffs. I put these skiffs in. These are the bearings that came with. I put the 6mm, 16 ball count, 1/16. So that's a fairly nice multi-row kind of set. This is the ones that came with originally. They weren't bad. They weren't bad, but skiffs are always going to be better. Some people may say it's a matter of opinion. I think there's noticeable differences. Sometimes they're much more noticeable. Sometimes they're not. So kind of up to you. All right, so this falls into the higher end knife. It's around $400. I think it's generally a nice knife. Is it EDC hard use collection piece? Absolutely, it could be a collection piece. You could buy this, collect it, and never carry it again. And that is certainly up to you. You could absolutely EDC this knife regularly and maybe not hard use it and still have it a collection piece. That's certainly up to you. Or you could just hard use it and just use it as a workhorse. That is up to you as well. I think it would do well as a workhorse. I think it's M390 blade steel. I think that's really nice. I think the nice flat grind is fantastic. It's not a hollow grind, it's a flat grind, but it comes up pretty high with there's no swedge on here. It's just full flat to about right here. And because it's so large, it has a nice slicey edge there. And I think that's really nice. So yeah, I think it could definitely be a collection EDC type of piece. I don't know if you'd want a hard use with the amount of money. You know, it's your budget. It's how much you want to spend and use, right? So it's up to you. Ergos and feel overall, handles, opening and closing, the texture, jimping, the clip, and the lanyard. So there is a lanyard, a big giant lanyard loop there. So lanyard people rejoice. I think the way they do it, it's very much in sync with the whole design. You almost don't even notice it. It almost looks like it's just an intentional to kind of match sort of the aesthetics, right? So I think it's cool. I don't hate this lanyard because it doesn't prioritize over the rest of the knife. You don't get the clip to go way down here, and you still have a very deep pocket carry. Yeah, it's going to carry like that. So it'll be very deep pocket carry. I think that's really cool. I think the opening and closing is phenomenal. The front, oops, as long as you don't put your finger there, but the front flip works really nice, and you can easily do, you know, that finger there. You can slow roll it open. So I could do this, in which I've done before. Nice slow roll open, right? That works too. And the thumb hole right there, as long as you don't put your finger on the lock bar that's over there, it's easy to kind of work as well, and easy to work on both sides like that as well. And you can do this over here. Make sure you don't put your finger on there. Get a little high, and oops, now I've got a Band-Aid, so I've got a Band-Aid, keep slipping. I know I can do this. There we go. Band-Aid slippery, but there you go. I like it. The aesthetics, it's nice and smooth everywhere around here, chamfered. You can even see that nice little design there. I think it's cool. So the opening, closing, the textures, the design, everything works. It pulls it together. It's very, very intentional, and I dig that. I dig that a lot. T8 hardware, all that's really nice. Minimum hardware, really. You got one screw, two screws on this side, and two screws on this side, and that's it. That's really it. This hidden hardware behind the clip, which goes all the way through here. I think that's awesome. I love that. Minimal billboarding, 18 of 16, Knife Nuts podcast. Yeah, could you done without that? Sure. Maybe put that on the inside on the scale. Yeah, that'd been cooler. But you know, I don't know. For some people, if you're a Knife Nuts podcast supporter and you buy their knives, maybe you want to see it on the outside. I don't know. But the Arkona, I'm gonna say Arkona logo, really nice. Like the little deer there, kind of antelope. Reminds me of I think stag, is it Scotch whiskey or something like that. Anyways, that's cool. But this is the Buran KNP, the Knife Nuts podcast. So very cool. I love that action. It's just really, really nice. So the overall feel is really great in hand. There's no hot spots. When I grip down here, there's no hot spots. This doesn't dig in. It really surprisingly doesn't, because of the angle and everything. Angles are done well and very intentionally. Even the chamfering is very generous. Almost gives it a, not quite, but almost a contour, because it's so done. It brings the edges together really nicely. You don't feel like you've got these edges digging into your hand between your knuckles. So it's just really nice. I like that. I like that a lot. I think that's outstanding. So outstanding. Yeah. All right. So fidget factor. All right. So what do we have? We have a front flipper. We have 2 fullers, and that's really it. So it's a couple of things, but how do they work? So, I mean, immediately I would probably give this maybe a 4, right? And that would be it, a 4, and then you'd be all set. And then, you know, the reverse flick and all that stuff. So I think, by the way, nicely dead nut centered. And let's look, engaged at a good 15%. Yeah, 15% on there. Yeah, nice and locked. No blade play, no pivot lash. And let's listen to detent real quick. Nice clickety detent, ready? Really nice. All right. Fidget factor, I'm going to give it, I'll leave it a 4. I think it's a solid 4. Could be a 5, but I think it's a solid 4. What it does well. The fuller works really nicely. I like it. There's enough in here and enough of an edge. You can get a big meaty finger in there. Use your meaty finger like that, and it flicks nicely, right? And it works both sides. As long as you clear there and you don't have a slippery Band-Aid on, it should pop open really nicely, right? But that top flipper works really well. I like that a lot. You can do multiple deployments. You can do, you know, the thumb, you can do your finger. And if you got really long fingers, I'm sure you could, yeah, if you had long fingers, you could do that too. Mine are a little short. So, you know, the bummer about short fingers, right? But if you have longer fingers, that would be really cool for you as well. So there you go. I love the action, especially putting skiffs in there, just made it a little bit nicer. So yeah. So out of the 4, what's the fidgety goodness on this? I'm going to give it a good solid 90, good A-. I think it's solid. I think it's absolutely solid. I think it's really, really, really well done. So certainly an A on that. Is it recommended? Yeah, I think it's recommended. If you have smaller hands, maybe not. And you don't like bigger knives, you know, this should be out of your consideration. Well, before I do that, we're going to do some zooms, some close-ups, right? But I think it's definitely recommended. I think if you like bigger knives, you're going to love this thing. Everything about it is done well. It's a really well-executed knife. I mean, for $400, you would expect it, right? So outstanding. Outstanding job. Great job there. Yeah, so definitely recommend it. It's going to be in my recommended higher-end knives for sure. All right, so let's do some quick zoom in. So here's the blade. And let's look at the blade on the back side right here. Beautiful, nice drop point there as well. And let's look at the clip right there. I mean the clip, the scales. Beautiful texture. The design on the scales is outstanding. Yeah, so the scale is just really outstanding there. Beautiful purple anodization. There's a backspacer. The nice jimping. It does work. This is ample jimping. You can push down. It does give you good contact. Here's the carbon fiber. Beautiful carbon fiber. Very similar to what I've seen elsewhere, but really done nicely. Beautiful T8 hardware all the way around. Like I said, nicely weight relief on the inside. I don't know if you can see it on the carbon fiber side. Let me see. Can I get some light in there? Might have to bring my flashlight. Let's see. Can you see the? Yeah. Now you can see the weight relief in there, right? That's pretty good. So I think that's outstanding. Beautiful, beautiful backspacer. And you can see the extra jimping here, which I think gives you a nice little extra grip. All right, so let's get a nice close-up for our little picture for the video. I think that's nice. Love the texture. I love the design. I love all the lines that bring it together. It's very intentional. It's very unique. This really, if it didn't have any of that, it could be a boring knife. I think it could be. I mean, it'd still be a very functional, good, utilized knife, but all of the things that brought together make this a very exciting knife to me. I think so. So there you go. And I love, again, the action. It's just outstanding. So there you go. All right. Hey, let me know what your thoughts are if you have this knife, if you have enjoyed it, if it's a knife maybe you're interested in, you know, or maybe you get because of the video and you go to Knife Nuts Podcast and say, hey, I really want to get one of these, then cool. Let me know what you think of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button also down below? Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel. Allows the channel produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone out there who watches the videos, who likes the videos, who enjoys the content, who is on the live streams. I appreciate you. Thank you. And if you haven't already, hit that notification button down below as well so you can be notified of future content like this video. And a big thank you to all the channel members out there. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys so very much. You have no idea. You allow the channel to do a lot of things way sooner than I ever thought we'd be able to do. So I am humbly grateful. I was going to say humbly and grateful together. I'm grateful. I don't know what, making up words here, but I'm humbly grateful to you guys. So thank you. Thank you so much. And as a small way for me to say thank you, I do two things for the channel members. I do a once a month members giveaway. Usually try to make sure it's a really nice knife. As long as you're generous with the memberships, I want to be generous back and get you do a nice once a month members giveaway. And I also give all brand new channel members a sticker. Or if you've never gotten a sticker and you're a channel member right now, whether you've been a member all this time or you were a member and became a member again, but you never asked for a sticker, email me with your name and address. As long as you're a member right now, I would love to send you a sticker, a channel sticker, just for me to say thank you. Thank you for being a channel member and supporting the channel. I want you to know how appreciative and grateful I am to you. So thank you. Also, if you haven't checked me out on Instagram, go over there on Instagram and check out Robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at Robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.